Hello and welcome to day 6, the final day of the mini challenge. I hope you've found some nuggets that can help you along the way. If not, hopefully today will be the day that there's something that's of benefit to you. If even the tiniest thing has made a slight difference to you, then my mission has been accomplished. So I'd really love to hear kind of any thoughts about those. Today we're going to talk about the final thing that repeatedly came up, and that is the very understandable concern of finances. Not only is bringing a new human into the world an additional cost in itself, but for most mothers it means having to reduce back on work. So therefore there's a reduction in income as well. So not only are your outgoings going up, but your income is going down. So obviously that's going to create some concerns around how you'll manage. And you'll see that the title of the email was around shopping and spending, and clearly I'm not advocating going out there and going wild. My goodness, the baby market is a shopping potential beyond anything I could have imagined, and it's really easy to go crazy with it. And that's exactly why I've supplied you with a baby, what I call a newborn baby kit spreadsheet. That might be a first starting point for you if this is your first. If it's not, then obviously some of those things will be familiar to you. But it's basically the essentials that you'll need. Obviously you can go mad and get all sorts of different things, but those are going to be the essentials. I do caveat that obviously everybody's parenting is different, so there's some things that won't be right for you. An example of that might be nappies. You might not want to use disposable nappies. You may want to use reusable ones, which is great, fantastic for the environment. Actually, if I had my time again, I think I'd seriously consider that. But that's just one small example. So this is very much just to give you a starting point with some recommended products, so that if this is completely alien to you, you've just got somewhere to go from. I'm not suggesting that you need to go out and get all of these things, but they've all been tried and tested by myself, and I can recommend them as products. And then what I've done is given you, and this is where it's dependent on your preferences. There is a downloadable worksheet that you can fill in with the things that you might see either from my spreadsheet or as you go along, and then just to be writing them down and getting kind of a feel of what it is that you need to get. Or if you're super duper kind of like, you love your Excel, I have also provided you with an Excel spreadsheet that you can fill in if that's better for you. And what's really good is that you can just start thinking about all the things you need to get. You don't necessarily need to get them now, but you can start thinking about what it's going to cost you, what you need to budget for. Think about when you can get them with online deliveries that now you can literally just get them whenever, next day delivery. So that's not an issue. Or also if you've got families or friends who have offered to give you some gifts, this is a great way of being able to say to them, actually, can you give me gifts of things I actually need, rather than having 200 newborn baby grows that I won't get through. So it's a really good way of actually making sure that you make the use of any kind of generous gifts that you might get. The next level to this, which I haven't included in this, is obviously looking at your actual finances. So what is your income actually going to be when you're on maternity leave, when your child arrives, if there's a partner, what is theirs going to be, and where is there a deficit, and where can that come from? And often the best way of dealing with deficits is thinking about what you can cut back on rather than necessarily generating more income. So that's when dredging through bank statements can be really useful. I am so guilty of having subscriptions to things that I don't even know what they are, that I should have cancelled years ago, and actually just sometimes going through and spending a really boring day dredging through your statements and just cancelling off anything that's going out. Looking at your phone bill, is it the best payment plan that you could be on? TV things, gas and electricity. Look at what you're actually spending and where you can cut on it. That is the best starting point before you then start thinking, if there's still a deficit, where can more of that money come from? And there's things that, if necessary, that you can do to generate more income, but a really good starting point is that. The final thing I'll say, and for those of you that already have children, and for the rest of you, it's obvious as well, but it's worth saying, is that babies grow so quickly that although it's tempting to go and buy loads of equipment and clothes and things for them, they go out with them so quickly that it's really worth thinking about where you can get secondhand things. It's also so much better for the environment. You know, the number of plastic things that get used just for a couple of months and then tipped when they're in perfectly good condition. It is really worth thinking about the things that you can pick up, you know, for next to nothing secondhand. Look up your local Facebook parenting groups where people are selling things, often even giving them away. So, and also from your own perspective, as soon as your baby starts to outgrow things, yeah, you know, give some of it to charity. I always believe in good karma, but also it's a way of getting a bit of money back if you can start sort of going to bring and buy sales and things like that. So it's well worth looking into the secondhand baby market for some of your things, because the amount of money that you can spend on things that barely get used, it really does start to add up. So yeah, it's about, like with everything, it's about planning. Burying your head in the sand is the absolute worst thing you can do, and it's probably one of the top things that people do when it comes to finances. But it's better just to you know, to know where you're at, and you know, if you are in a position where you're going to be with a deficit of income, it's better to know and try and address it than to bury it and then be in the situation when your baby's actually here that you don't know what you're going to be doing. And the more that you can do to plan ahead, the better. So I'd like to think that today's is quite a fun challenge. I hope that all of them have been, but this one means that if you haven't done so yet, you can start to think about some of that baby equipment. You know, as I said, the links that I've given you, it's basically the essentials that you need, with links to recommended products that I've personally tried and tested. But it's absolutely, you know, up to you and your parenting style what you want to go for. It's just a starting point, and do absolutely think about, although the links will be taking you to shops, think about where you can then maybe pick them up secondhand if that's something that's possible for you locally. Be great to hear, as always, any comments on this. You know, what tips do people have for sort of cutting back on expenses whilst they're, you know, in the early years with their children, and what has been the biggest expense, or maybe what's the one thing that you bought that you really regret buying, or what is the top thing that you would absolutely recommend if you've already had a baby, to new parents that haven't had children before, that should absolutely be on that shopping list, and what should not be on that shopping list. So yeah, it'd be great to hear any comments on that. So that is the final part of the challenge, and as I said before, I really hope that you've managed to take something away from you with you. These are all just snippets of ways in which you can practically and you know, think about your mindset, and I very much work with, as I mentioned before, the conscious and the unconscious mind, because I believe that the two together can really drive powerful change, and I think that powerful change can mean that you can just be more confident, relaxed and empowered as a parent, which is going to be a much more enjoyable journey for you and for your children. And I hope that in some way I've been able to help with that. Please keep engaging with the videos. You've got my email. I'm also on Instagram and obviously on Facebook, so you can continue to engage me that way. And I have numerous ways in which you can work with me if you felt that you wanted to be on this, which all appear within those forums. So if you have any questions, either follow me on those or feel free to drop me an email. And I just would like to take this opportunity to wish you the best of luck with your journey ahead. Please enjoy the rest of your pregnancy, and I'll hopefully speak with you soon.